FPL is nearly here, and in today's video I'll be giving you all the key data that help you to get off to a good start in Fantasy Premier League. Before we get into this video, be sure to like and subscribe, support does not go unnoticed. I'll be posting Fantasy Premier League content on my YouTube across the new season, and if you are interested in that, be sure to subscribe. As always, if you are interested in being in my mini league, code is on the screen right now, or you can click the link in the description. Although the game hasn't released yet as of the time of recording, so I might not even have a mini league by the time this video comes out, but when I do, I'll be posting a link to it on my fantasy football Twitter. That'll be linked in the description. There is some good stuff on there as well. Here we've got the FDR and expected goals from the first 6 game weeks, courtesy of All Fantasy Tips, and this will give us a good idea of who the better players are to pick. Liverpool seem to be the strongest team to start off with. They got Bournemouth, Burnley, Everton and Crystal Palace in their first 6 game weeks. As always, Man City are around the top. They have Burnley in game week 6. That'll be a high scoring game, you'd think. Somewhat disagree with how Man City have been rated. I think Tottenham and Man United will be higher games than one may think. But of course, as we get closer to game week 1, the start of game week 1, the data will be more accurate as we'll get a better idea of who the better teams are and who has the better players. Tottenham faced recently promoted Burnley in game week 1, and that could be a good fixture to target to start off with. If Morgan Gibbs White makes a move as of the time of recording, he hasn't, that'll be a good attacking option. 2.49 expected goals against Burnley, that is very impressive. Nottingham Forest has some pretty decent fixtures there. Burnley and Sunderland in game week 5 and game week 6. And across the board, except from Arsenal, they are pretty good fixtures for Nottingham Forest. Maybe Chris Wood again, he'll be a popular pick. I think I will be going for a lot of Chelsea assets in my team. They've been on some great form as of late. They won the European competition, of course, against Real Betis, and the Club World Cup against Paris Saint-Germain. I think Maresca is starting to get a better idea of what he wants to do with the side. And if they bring some good players in, they have already Liam Delap, João Pedro, that certainly bolsters their attack and gives them more attacking options rather than just Palmer and maybe Pedro Neto. Some interesting ones down the bottom is Everton versus Leeds. The Everton are away to Leeds. You almost can't back the recently promoted teams because of how poor they have been in recent history. So Everton are expected to score about 1.44 goals against Leeds. And it's the same with West Ham. They are away to Sunderland in game week 1. And they are expected to score 1.31 goals. Teams I would avoid for the first couple of game weeks, of course you've got Sunderland and Burnley. Wolves are in there as well, set from their game week 5 game against Leeds. But also West Ham, their fixtures are pretty difficult. Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, even Crystal Palace, who are on some great form during the back end of last season. But overall, there are some pretty interesting fixtures to target, and it definitely gives me a better idea of who I'm going to pick in my first draft. Of course, if we looked at the expected goals, we should also look at the expected clean sheets. This time coming from Fantasy Football Pundit. I'll leave the link to all of these websites in the description, as of course they will probably update as we get closer to the deadline. Tottenham are the most likely team to keep a clean sheet, and of course in fantasy football, well, in Fantasy Premier League, you want to go for wing backs. The point scoring system doesn't really reward centre backs, more so wing backs. So Pedro Porro could be a good player to target against Burnley, with a 47% chance of keeping a clean sheet in game week 1. Man City, of course, they were up there with 44% against Wolves. And again, Chelsea are quite up there as well, with Crystal Palace at home. I think Chelsea are going under the radar a little bit, but with the odds, that seems not to be the truth. Liverpool against Bournemouth, another high one. Interestingly, Brighton come up at 5th. They have Fulham at home in their first game. I think most Brighton defenders will be low price, so that could be a low price route to a decent defender. Leeds are up there as well, which is very surprising. 31% chance of keeping a clean sheet. They face Everton at home, as I said. Sturridge could be a good option if you're going to go for Leeds. He's on pens for Leeds as well. He was very helpful in Fantasy EFL in the 24-25 season, and it could be the same case in FPL this season. In terms of players or teams you want to avoid defensively, Bournemouth only have a 10% chance, and that is understandable when they are away to Liverpool. That will be a very tough game, of course. The same with Wolves, with Man City at home, Burnley, Tottenham away, Crystal Palace, Chelsea away. I think Fulham's number is slightly harsh. Brighton away. It is, of course, a difficult game, but Fulham are a competitive side. 18% feels a little bit harsh in my opinion, but the rest are understandable. In my opinion, looking at those numbers, I'll be looking to bring in some Brighton players in a Brighton defender because those odds are very favourable, and of course, as I said, Brighton defenders are low price, so that will leave money to spend elsewhere. It should also be said that goal scored and clean sheet odds aren't the definitive answer to doing well in fantasy games. It's how I like to play it and I find it very informative. It's helped me do well in other fantasy games, so I'm going to give it a shot in FPL. Now if we move on to players to target, the game is yet to come out, so no price reveals as of yet, so we can't build my first draft yet, but we can get a good idea of who the better players will be. If we look at goalkeepers briefly, it's good to look at fixture rotations for me for goalkeepers, and Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest work together well, so that promotes the use of Henderson and Sells. It might be a little pricey going for two goalkeepers who are very good, but with no Trent in the game this year and Haaland's price will surely decrease from 50 million, it could be an acceptable option. In the first 10 games, one of these two keepers will face West Ham, Burnley and Everton, and both will face Sunderland and Brentford, and the other games aren't too bad either. So yeah, if I can fit them in, this rotation will definitely be my go-to. If we move on to defenders now, Pedro Porro will be very popular in my opinion. Tottenham have the highest clean sheet odds, as I said earlier, and goal contributions do come frequently for him. 13 last season, and it's a no-brainer really. There are loads of good Chelsea defenders, Cucurella for instance, but I do like the look of Colwill. He was really impressive in the Club World Cup, if any of you watched that, and he's definitely nailed at the moment. Estupiñán is a bit of a hero in FPL, and I don't see it being any different this season. Southampton, Everton and Fulham are Brighton's first 3 games, which is obviously good for Estupiñán and his clean sheet potential. Those are 3 pretty obvious ones now, so we'll look at a lower price alternative. It may not be as good, but still could pick you up a few points. If you're looking at Leeds high clean sheet odds and you're thinking I should bring in a Leeds defender, I would strongly recommend Pascal Struijk. As I said earlier, he is on pens for Leeds, so on the off chance that Leeds do get a penalty, you're looking at a massive point haul there. Here are the 3 midfield options, and I've realised that João Pedro may be classed as a midfielder in this game. FPL team have him as a midfielder. That may be a mistake. I'm sure he was a forward in FPL last season and he was a forward in the Club World Cup Fantasy, but just in case we'll pick 3 other midfielders. Bowen will probably be a must have in my team for game week 1 with a very favourable fixture against Sunderland. Sunderland is a very hard place to go, but Bowen is Mr. Consistent, very underrated, and I can see him bagging at the Stadium of Light. Bowen has picked up 101 goal involvements in his last 4 seasons for West Ham, incredible numbers, and that does justify picking him in my team. Palmer had a poor spell towards the back end of last season, and honestly he wasn't very good in the Club World Cup until the final, but his performance in the final was very encouraging, 2 goals and 1 assist against a very tough opponent. If he can perform to those levels again in the Premier League, he is a must-have. He'll definitely be pricey, he is a premium player, but there isn't a better player in the Premier League for me when he is at his best. And of course, ending it on a very rogue one, Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson's talent was shown to the masses at the under-21 Euros as England won the competition. His attacking output in the Premier League hasn't been the greatest in the past few seasons, but it is getting better. 8 goal involvements last season, and if Morgan Gibbs White does leave, I can see him being given more authority to attack. And this could be the breakout season for Anderson in the Premier League. He'll be at a very low price and very low owned, so it may be worth a punt. 2 forwards to end it all, an obvious one and a different one. Gyökeres isn't actually in the Premier League yet, but he is heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. With the deal almost being done, Gyökeres could be the missing piece in Arsenal's puzzle. His record has been insanely good for Sporting, 54 goals in 52 games last season. That is ridiculous, and I'm sure that will translate into the Premier League well. He'll give us more options in FPL if he does join, which is always going to be a good thing. And 2.75 expected goals for Arsenal against Leeds in Game Week 2 also promotes having an Arsenal attacker early doors. It's hard to find a differential forward in this game, but Liam Delap fits that bill. He may face reduced minutes due to a lot of rotation. There is a lot of competition in the Chelsea front line, but he scored 12 times for a poor side last season, and if priced correctly, Delap will be a very good option. He looked good in spells in the Club World Cup, but we can only wait and see to how he does in the Premier League this time around. And that is everything from me, the betting odds, and my players to target. If you have enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe. As I said before, I'll be posting a lot of FPL content across the new season, as well as other fantasy games. And yeah, thank you for watching.